কবিগুরু রবি ঠাকুরের সুয়োরানির সাধ translates to English as the longing. My end draws nigh, felt the queen beloved. She was listless and miserable. Life seemed worthless. Royal physician brought pills crushed in honey and said, "Swallow." The queen shoved it away. The king heard the news and abandoned court. He drew the queen close. "Why do you suffer, my love? What is your heart's desire?" "Leave me alone." The queen welled up. "Summon my friend." The royal friend showed up. The queen held her hand. "Sit down, dear. We need to talk." "Hold back nothing. Say it all," assured the friend. "Once upon a time, near my seven-tiered grand palace stood 3 mansions of the other queen. At some point, they were reduced to 2 and then 1. Not long after, the other queen left the royal premises altogether. Eventually, I forgot all about her. Then came the festival of colors. I headed for the temple in my bejeweled grand carriage. The royal guards ahead, the entourage followed, the orchestra played. On the way, I noticed a tiny hut in the shade of the peach blossoms by the river. Fringed by rambling roses, its yard was adorned with pretty patterns drawn by an artist's loving hand. "What a charming little hut! Who lives there?" I asked the royal attendant. "The queen forsaken," he replied. I lit the royal lamps in silence that evening. The king did ask, "Why do you suffer, my love? What is your heart's desire?" "I can't live here anymore," said I. The king promptly pledged a lavish home with ivory inlaid walls and alabaster floors etched with mother of pearl. I declined. "I yearn for a simple hut in the royal gardens." "Just that? Consider it done," said the Royal Highness. But no sooner was the hut built than it wilted like a plucked wildflower. I did move in, but couldn't stand to stay long. Then came the Festival of Waters. I headed for the river with 100 royal maids. On the way back from the holy dip, I peeped through the carriage window. I saw a lovely lady passing by, pure and serene. She wore pristine shell bangles and was dressed in rosy red and snowy white. On her hip brimmed a pitcher of water. The rays of the rising sun glanced off her glowing wet hair. "Who is she?" I asked the royal attendant, mesmerized. "Is she the high priestess at the temple?" The attendant grinned. "You don't recognize her, do you? Why, she's our queen forsaken." I returned, sullen and alone. The king said, "Why do you suffer, my love? What is your heart's desire?" "There is nothing I want more than to take a dip in the river each day, collect water in a pot, and carry it down the shaded path." "Just that." "Consider it done," said His Royal Highness. The guards cleared the path. I slipped on shell bracelets, clothed in red and white, bathed in the river, filled my pitcher. But when I reached home, I flung the pot and smashed it. I felt no joy in my excursions, only mortification. Then came the festival of dances. We danced all night in the moon-drenched scented groves Towards dawn, I left for home on the royal elephant. En route, I saw a handsome young boy. He wore a crown of blossoms. He carried a basket of flowers and fruit gathered from the forest. That boy glows with divine light. How blessed his mother must be, I thought aloud. He is the son of the queen forsaken, milady, the attendant informed. He takes his treasures for his mother. I returned morose and lonely. The king did ask, "Why do you suffer, my love? What is your heart's desire?" How I would love for our son to gather fruit and flowers for me every day from the forest. Just that? Consider it done, said His Royal Highness. As I rested in the chambers, my son, the prince, came in with his basket, hot, bothered, petulant at his errand. I lost appetite for the fruit he brought. Since that day, I know not what afflicts me. I brood alone. The king does ask, "Why do you suffer, my love? What is your heart's desire?" Though I am the queen beloved, I can tell no one what I actually long for. So I have summoned you, my friend. The queen beloved whispered in her friend's ear, "I pine for the exquisite grief of the queen forsaken." "Why on earth would you want that?" said the friend, astounded. Her bamboo flute sings of such mellifluous pain. My golden flute I drag around, but can evoke no melody.